to all the dispossessed youth of Africa, for perpetuation of communion with ancestral spirits through the fight for African freedom, and in the firm faith that the dead, the living, and the unborn will unite to build the destroyed shrines. Selah. Hello and welcome, beloveds, to another special message from the Ancient Ones. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How you doing? How's everything going, beloveds? I really do pray that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life truly on your own terms. A special shout out, beloveds, to every single person that has subscribed to this channel and to everyone that supports us on Patreon and sends us love donations through PayPal. We appreciate, love you all so much. Don't forget to like and share the video. You know, you've seen by the title, beloveds. But this is something that came to me in an early morning meditation, that Wakanda, the movie, was actually like an occult, astral, military attack on an existing kingdom within Mount Zion. And they used our energy and our vibes to kind of launch that attack, because we all, so many of our melanated people focused on it, and we went through the highs. And the movie, it revealed a lot of secrets about the Agikoyo. And the Agikoyo are the people of Mount Zion. And beloveds, the Agikoyo are the ones, they're mentioned by the Hopi Indians, who talked about, there's a Hopi prophecy where they talk about how, the native Indian community was given, I think, the custodian of the earth, the Mzungu was given custodian of fire, and we, the Agikoyo, they even mention us specifically, were given the custodianship of water. And so, and how we were supposed to keep these secrets till the very end. And this is the very end. So I guess it's time for the secrets to start coming out. And there are others who have been speaking out on this. But it's really important for us to realize, like, the whole thing about, what was the character, the main one, the king of Wakanda or whatever. The rituals they put him through are actual rituals that the Agikoyo seers went through. And before I even continue with the Wakanda story, this is the side note I wanted to make, that during the times of Kemet, every pharaoh would travel to this mountain to meet the elders of this mountain, the seers of this mountain, who are still there, beloveds, and who will be like a trump card in the seasons and times to come for Africa and for Kenya, the nest of the Most High. I mean, they didn't give us that name for nothing, So pharaohs used to come before they started their kingship or whatever. They used to come to this mountain, beloveds. And there is so much more within here. Why do you think our colonizer left and set up camp here? What have they been observing or trying to get a hold of? We don't ask enough questions, intelligent questions, sometimes, as a melanated people. But the whole Wakanda movie, beloveds, was an attempted astral military attack on an existing kingdom. And as melanated creators, they used our energy to flow through that narrative. And as we were flowing through that narrative, that's the energy that we were sending. Of course it failed, but it triggered something. And we are going to be seeing what it triggered in the seasons and times to come. And even them to then a year later take out the main character in one of the most brutal, painful ways. Nothing happens by accident. Even the casting of the melanated people that were casted. I mean, Even Lupita Nyong'o, they did DNA tests or something on all the characters, I think, but she ended up having this absolutely rare, DNA sequence that was like, one ancient, something ancient to the world. I think you can see it in the title of this article here. So all of it was to try and recreate this world and have people go. That's why movies and the screen are so dangerous. It's mysticism, beloveds. It's occult. Tell I vision. They tell lies to your vision and you manifest things for them. And they actually, because you see, we entered a new season when Wakanda came out. And they actually try to use us to do a diabolical thing to our hidden, I wouldn't even call them ancestors or, family members. Can I call them that? Because there are worlds upon worlds upon worlds on this level, beloveds, in this world, in this plane. As I've already told you, there's more than 7 continents. We're talking 33. I did a video on that. Please go check it out and do your research. That's what the ancient maps show. And nothing is just done for our entertainment. Entertainment is actually something where you enter something and they contain you and they harvest your energy for their own purposes. And that's what they did with Wakanda. They showed us, of course, their vision of what the world would look like, and they called it futuristic. It doesn't look like that. It's way more magical and beautiful. It's not as, you see, they can only put things in their own interpretation. But it's like if an African man or an African woman was to, who is deeply connected to the ancestors, was to produce something like that, the cities would look very different. It looked more like the Babylonian steel, glass. That's not our vibe, that's theirs. So, and you could see, if you remember Wakanda properly, beloveds, like when he started going to the different nations, it's like they had they had places which were cold and snow. They had like different climatic areas, when he was getting all the nations together. Like there is a world within a world, beloveds. And there are those among us who are connected to that world. And that world is connecting to us and is going to make themselves known to us, beloveds, if we are found worthy. And all that the ancient ones share is just to help to push you along your journey of restoration, reformation, and refinement, so that you recognize that there is nothing of this world that is greater than what awaits you when you hit a certain frequency. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, Africa. Welcome back, beloveds, to another special message from the Ancient Ones. My name is Dr. Mumbi Seraki, and it's really, really important, especially now that we're in these different times, that we're in the Aquarian age or the age of air. It's really important, beloveds, that we start to move differently. I don't know if you've seen the show I've done previously on how many of our brethren are the ones who are, who have been preventing the total collapse of Babylon, just because they're so energetically connected to it, emotionally, psychologically, physically, and their whole narrative is that. But you see, no movie is made for our entertainment. It's made to get us to enter a place and be contained while our energy is harvested. And you guys need to check out, during 9/11, you need to actually listen to what was happening where George Bush visited that primary school. and they use the young melanated children to talk about things. Do your research on what exactly the children, the teacher, the melanated teacher, and the children were saying at exactly the same time. You see, we think we're powerless when we're so powerful, so our power can be used against us and against others, against other kingdoms that we may not even know exist at such a time as this. And if you remember, there was such a wave. People wore the outfits, etc., etc. But didn't the movie end with like Wakanda being penetrated? It's just like the movie The Matrix, the way it ended. They'll take you somewhere and then they'll divert you to where they want you to go in a bid to divert the narrative. But so many of our people went to see it, took it to heart. And so it's like we manifested. Our energy was used to manifest the events of that movie on an astral plane, because that world exists. Those kingdoms exist. Not the way the Mzungu saw it, but they're there. And they are extremely powerful. And it's almost like they're blended with our world, but we don't see it because we're so low. We're in a world within a world within a world within a world, and we're at the lowest bottom frequency. So everyone sees us, but we can't see nothing because we're so low, especially as a collective consciousness. So there are individuals who see, but it's just like you gotta, keep such certain things to yourself. Otherwise, people will call you crazy. And that's the whole point. They've made the other realms, seem out there and fantastical and science fiction and crazy to block people's vision. And if you remember when Chadwick died, like a year later, I think, was it a year later or 2 years later? I can't remember, but it really shattered so many young people, beloveds. What do you think that energy was about? You see, because they already have, they feel they have this humanity under control. And it's always been about using us to get somewhere else. Trying to go through the many gates that are here to penetrate other worlds. And to almost, try and disconnect the people here from those other worlds so that we can never be rescued or helped or assisted. Because if you don't know who you are, you don't know what's at your disposal. And so our energy was harvested to become like a nuclear bomb to attack that nation, beloved. Because if you do your research, you'll even see that they say that the mind doesn't know the difference between what you see physically and what you dream. Movies are them dreaming for you. They put you in a space and they just send images across your vision. They are dreaming for you, which means they're dream weaving for you, which means they're creating on your behalf. And it's gone to the point now where they're creating people's reality almost 24/7 because people are 24/7 hooked to that black screen. Maybe I'll do a show on the occult meaning of the black screen, beloveds. So I share this to say, be careful what you're connecting to now. Because you could be just going out for an innocent, movie night, but you're actually doing so much damage in that 1 hour and a half. You're being used to do something as a weapon against your people that you don't even know exist. And this may be way out there for some people, but for those of you who have been refining yourselves, we're the ones who have to be extra careful what we pay attention to, what we give our attention to. Because the ancient ones and the ancestors are trusting us with so much power at such a time as this. And they will be entrusting us with even more power. And so we really have to move into the space of love, beloveds, and not pay too much attention to the Babylon system. Because one of us is like an entire nation in terms of if they get our attention, the damage they could do with that. Stay uplifted. Stay in your highest meditation. Stay in the present moment, creating your arc, preparing for what is already here. And just know, the astral military attack failed. Tuko pamoja.